population?
16 students a class.
I put high school. It's the high school.
I put people in the
Oops. Sorry, I should have put
Well, he
that.
nodded his head.
But it just says.
Yeah.
Yes. But that's the sample. The sample is
That's the
people.
same, that's his.
Name the sample.
What was your 16?
16 students.
How does that?
Class.
Now give a piece of data. So a lot of you, you're in math class, so right away you're trying to stick numbers in there, right? Shouldn't be the numbers. What's a piece of data?
6 kids are in foreign language.
Say it again.
I said 6 kids are in foreign language.
That's what I
Is that the only piece of data? No, you could have done the 10 that's not, the 16 that's the whole class. It's all, data is the numbers. Is your data a parameter or statistic? Give an inferential statistic about the information you collected.
More people don't take one language class at other high schools.
Now maybe we should have changed our population up here, because are you guys really a good sample of the population of NTHS? Why not? Well, most everybody's a senior, aren't they? So most everybody's a senior. Is that really a good sample of the entire school? So when Ben says, and I don't have any problem with this, Ben said most students do not take a foreign language. Is that really the case? Most, so maybe we could add a little to that and say most what?
Seniors.
Seniors don't take a foreign language. All right? Because if you went down and asked the freshmen, would the numbers come up quite a bit different probably? Yeah, there's probably a whole lot of freshmen who are taking a foreign language, whereas seniors, by the time you get to that point, you're like, I took my 1 or 2 and I'm done. All right, so again, one of the main problems, gotta be able to pick out what population you're choosing from and what your sample is. On the homework, everybody do it? You didn't do it?
No, I actually did.
Should I trust her? She's gonna make me walk around, man. I got a bad knee and everything. My knee's been killing me all day long, and she's gonna make me walk clear back here to check. Did everybody do it?
Yes.
Nobody lied to me. All right, this one time I believe you, Mike. I'll probably never believe you again, but this one time.
He did do it. He was doing it in intervention.
That's why.
Actually sat down and did it with 2 people.
No, you didn't. I'll mark it down.
I know that mentioned it.
Come check mine.
That's all I'm saying. So I need to know if I'm right or not. Like,
So that's what we're getting ready to do right now.
he's like, I did it. I did it.
On it!
I didn't do it.
I'm talking. I sat down for about an hour. I didn't have to talk. Listen. Alright. I should not. I was taking transitional before I got my
I didn't know what I was
I mean, it's
doing.
not very hard. I got some answers.
Okay, you're gonna do it again. But still, sit down for longer.
I'm gonna work it out.
Open up your books to page. Open up your books to the homework page.
Really hard this year. I don't know, to maybe
What page was it?
I think the last year's work was probably.
you're never getting that.
I started charging him.
Look, I did it too. You wanna check mine?
I kind of.
Walk over here. Well, see, you're gonna make me walk over there.
Just get up and check.
Go check his homework, son.
I probably should.
What if he didn't do his homework and he's just
Right
like,
about a lot of it.
Questions? And I apologize, cause we should've, last time I wanted to do like the first, I don't know, what was it, 23 or something together. So, and we gotta make sure today, same thing, we're gonna go through a bunch of them together first and then. Question? Ones you're not sure about, you want me to run through some of them? Which ones do we wanna run through?
Number,
Do we wanna run through like the first 23 together? First 23, like we were going to do last time maybe? Alright. How's a sample related to a population?
samples a portion of that population.
Samples a portion or part of it. Why is a sample used more often than a population?
Populations are hard to get.
It's hard to get a population very good. What is the difference between a parameter and a statistic?
Parameter is population, statistic is a sample.
Parameter is something that goes with population, statistic goes with a sample. What are the two main branches of statistics?
Inferential and descriptive.
Very good. Number 5, they just want true or false on these. When we do the true or false throughout the year, you guys, I'm sure all you guys have seen these books that they do true or false, and then if it's false, they want you to change a word or something to make it true. No. If it's true or false, write true or false. Alright, and then we'll talk about it. And I'll tell you, no, that would be true if it was this or something. I'm not reading that much of it. You can tell on my paper I put true or false. I mean, rewriting the whole sentence. We'll do plenty of writing in here. That's not something that's necessary. Statistic is a measure that describes a population characteristic. False. And all we change here is a statistic is something that describes a sample characteristic. A sample is a subset of a population.
True.
True. It's impossible for the Census Bureau to obtain all the census data about the population in the United States.
True.
That's probably true. Shouldn't be, I mean, there's gotta be a way, but we don't know it yet.
Drones.
Number 8, inferential statistics involves using a population to draw a conclusion about the corresponding sample.
True.
False. They put the two words backwards. You use a sample to make a conclusion about the population. So I use you guys, let's say we talked about car insurance last time. I use you guys to say, okay, 7 of you have wrecked. And then I use that to decide how much I'm gonna charge everybody else for insurance. A population is a collection of some outcomes, responses, measurements, or counts that are of interest. That's false. Population should be there, should it? What word should be there? Statistics.
Statistic.
A sample statistic will not change from sample to sample. We just got done showing that, right? If we do, you guys were my sample on that we just took. If I went out and did another classroom sample, would it be the same? No, because if I pick like a freshman class, it'll be a lot different. So it's gonna change from sample to sample. Number 11, the height of each player, let's see, let me better read the directions. Determine whether the data set is a population or a sample. So is it a population or a sample? The height of each player on a school's basketball team, population or sample?
Population, because every.
Because all you're dealing with is what?
The basketball.
The basketball team. So you gotta be careful on these. Now, could that basketball team be a sample of the entire school? Yeah, but that's not what we're dealing with this time. We're just dealing with the basketball team. So they're the population. The amount of energy collected from every wind turbine on a wind farm.
Population.
That's population, because It's all of those certain turbines, not the ones 50 miles from here. Everybody ever drive up through middle of Ohio and see all those big, silly looking turbines?
They make electricity.
Yeah, Greenville's got a couple, or a few, or whatever. Survey of 500 spectators from a stadium with 42,000 spectators. Sample. Annual salary of each pharmacist at a pharmacy.
Population.
Population, because you're dealing with just those
Oh, I watched
certain
a
people.
couple die on that.
Cholesterol levels of 20 patients in a hospital with 100 patients. Sample. Number of televisions in each U.S. household.
Population.
Probably a population, even though, again, could we ever really get all of those?
I bet I
Probably
could.
not.
I could look through
I'll
some.
put population down anyway.
Uh,
TV.
the final score of each golfer in a tournament.
Population.
Population.
So that's just dealing with just the people who played that tournament, right? Ebersole's 120 doesn't count. That's pretty funny. Nobody else
Even
knows
very
anything about
short.
golf, so.
That's not true.
What do you say?
Why didn't you laugh? Just because you're a negative, dark person.
You're right.
Let's see, the age of every third person entering a clothing store.
Sample. Well,
Sample. Political party of every U.S. president.
population.
Population. The soil contamination levels at 10 locations near a landfill. Samples. 21 and 20, or 21 through 24, use the Venn diagram to identify the sample, or the population and the sample. 21, what's the population?
Registered voters.
In Warren County.
In Warren County, and what's the sample?
People who respond in Warren
People
County.
who have to respond, which I'm a registered voter, but when they ask me those kind of questions on the phone or something, guess what I don't do? I don't respond. I usually hang up on them or something, hope they won't call me back. Number 22, what's the population?
Number of students.
Students who donate, and
Have O plus.
sample is O positive. Ones that have O positive. Anybody know what's special about O positive?
You can give to every positive.
We can donate to anybody, but we can only receive ours.
Right.
That's a negative.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Well, then is it?
Because I got O positive.
O positive.
And you can give it to every. You can give it to every.
Not give mine.
You can give everyone.
23, population.
Adults in the United States.
And sample?
Samsung.
Samsung. owners.
I'm part of that population.
20, did we do 24?
Yeah.
We did?
No.
Oh. 24, population.
Homeowners
Homeowners in Texas,
and their income.
ones that still have mortgages, ones still paying on it. Other questions over any of the rest of the problems that you did that you want to see? Don't be afraid to ask, because I guarantee if you didn't understand a problem, there's probably 5 other people in here that didn't understand that same problem. Yeah, we can't do that.
Can we go over 43 and 44?
43 and 44. Which part of the survey described in exercise 31 represents the descriptive branch? And then it says, make an inference based off the results of the survey. So just, let's go back to, what was it, 31? A survey of 546 U.S. women found that more than 56% are the primary investors in their household. So what's a descriptive thing in that?
More than.
546, one number of the
Right, so saying that the women are the primary investors, sort of describing it. And then it says make an inference. Women are smarter, I'd accept that.
I
I look around the room and our sample proves it.
What?
Sean's in the top 5%.
Top 5%. Hey, this three right here is smarter.
So,
Dude, I'm struggling to get
what would be another one? Women are smarter, maybe. All right, that's sort of a sexist thing to say, but that would work. I can, give me something else that maybe a little more useful.
Nobody else in the household has a job.
All right. Maybe women work more than men, or the females
Yeah, for real.
are employed more than men.
60 for real.
Other questions?
Just,
The women are single.
I just never responded to that.
And this said 44.
44 also. 44. Which part of the survey described in exercise 32 represents descriptive branch? And make it so same thing, right? So what number is this?
Survey of vacation.
32. A survey of 791 vacationers from the United States found that they planned on spending at least $2,000 on the next vacation. What's something that's descriptive in there? What are they telling you about?
They're spending $2,000.
How much they're spending. They're planning on spending $2,000. That'd be descriptive. Make up something for me.
They didn't bring enough money the first time.
I was gonna say they vacation before they know the cost.
So maybe they vacation before and they know that, hey, we need quite a bit of money. What else? Anything else you could say about them?
They like to spend. They like to spend.
Spend a lot of money? So if you go on vacation, you spend a lot of money?
On vacation.
Big spenders.
Vacation costs a lot?
They want to hit the casino.
Not even that.
Other questions? So if you live somewhere like where? Give me some place that question might be helpful.
Vegas.
Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah, never mind.
Live in Las Vegas. Might be helpful to know, hey, these people are vacationing, if they're on vacation, they're gonna spend a lot of money.
Or like Cali.
So you can take
Standard
their
of
money.
living. Like their standard of living would have to be Loaded. worth more.
Now, with California, is California a great vacation place?
No, there's too many homeless people here.
Not really. Right? California doesn't get a whole lot of vacationers. What are the main states that do get vacations?
Florida, South Carolina,
Hawaii, Florida,
Alaska.
Carolinas.
And they just
New
didn't
York,
leave there.
maybe something like that.
Carolinas.
And when you look at those places, what's true? If you go, in my other class, in my transitions class, we talk about this. What's true about the sales tax in Florida compared to the sales tax in the rest of the US?
Is it higher?
Why is it higher?
There's more people
spending
going.
money.
There's no
Because there's a lot of people that visit there and they know that they're gonna buy stuff.
And that lady down there gave me stuff for free.
So they charge them, they charge those visitors a lot more money. Well, that sort of screws the people who live there, because now they gotta pay that higher sales tax, except, somebody mentioned this, I heard it. How do they help out the people who actually live there? There's no income tax. They pay only the sales tax, they don't pay income tax. So those of you who live in Ohio and pay income tax and sales tax here, and then go down there and pay a higher sales tax, they take your extra money. They don't take that, and they put that towards what income tax they would normally have. Other questions?
Can we go over 47 and
47, 48. Living in Florida, study shows that senior citizens who live in Florida have better memories than senior citizens who do not live in Florida. Make an inference based on the results of the study. What's an inference we can make about that?
Florida is better for old people.
Florida's better for old people? Maybe we could say better weather helps with memory.
It's nice in Florida all the time.
No, it ain't.
It sucks during the summer, but if you're in the winter, and it's a nice 70-degree day outside.
Somebody said it rains every day. Yeah, it rains every day for like 5 minutes, and then it's
beautiful.
sunshiny the rest of the day. It killed me that we were down there once and we were on the beach, and all of a sudden we hear all these sirens going on. There was a tornado came through. 5 minutes later, everybody was back out on the beach again. It stormed. I mean, we ran to our cars and we sat in our cars, couldn't see anything out of your car at all for 5 minutes. I'm like, oh crap, man. It was that bad. 5 minutes later, everybody's back on the beach. What else did they ask us? What is wrong with this type of reasoning?
There's no facts behind it.
Right, there's no facts.
State.
We need to do some kind of situation, set up something and do some kind of study. 48. Study shows that obesity rate among boys ages 2 to 19 has increased over the past several years, making inference based on the results of this study.
More fats in food.
I didn't know that.
More junk in food? Go ahead. Boys eating more?
More processed.
More
Processing. Like, it's easier to get food too.
less time where?
Like outside.
Outside. That's probably the main one that the study might be looking at, is less time outside. Everybody's sitting in, I know my son, if I don't make him, like today I'll probably text him as I'm leaving, hey, you wanna hit today? Yeah. You ready? Alright. Knowing all day long, where's he been? He's not in school yet. Knowing all day long he's been sitting where? Probably his computer. Watching it. Because he's watching some stupid video. I have no idea what those videos are. I walk by
How to
there
hit dingers.
and I look at it.
Coach Kent Murphy.
And he's watching some stupid video about, I don't know, I walked by and he's watching a video about golf the other day. I'm like, alright, I guess I won't throw a big fit. Then I walk by and he's watching a video of some other guy playing some video game. I'm like, why are you watching somebody else play a video game?
Why do people watch other people play sports?
That's true. When I question myself, that's the first thing I ask. I say, well, you know what? Why do I go watch Trail play a football game?
Old Olympic videos. I don't know.
Watch Ohio State.
I like watching Bulls break.
Oh, yeah, I've seen
What's wrong with this type of reasoning? Doing,
There's nothing wrong with it, it's true.
There's a small age range. It's a very wide.
it's very wide, it could be a whole lot of different things,
I
right?
said it should say like,
It's just fat.
So, when you're looking at something like that, it's easy to say, yeah, it's because of video games. That's why they're all getting fat. Ebersole got fat. I ain't played not one video game.
Good
Alright.
food. Food tastes better.
So that's-
Food tastes better.
The activity part of it's probably a big thing. Other questions? Metabolism. You guys will get there. All of a sudden, I mean, this summer, I shouldn't even say anything like this, it doesn't have anything. This summer, I left school last year, and I swore I was gonna lose some weight because my knees are hurting and I'm getting old and it's just a pain in the butt. And so I ate nothing but fruits and vegetables for like the first month and a half. Alright, and I had cut down on how much I ate. Guess how much weight I lost?
5 pounds.
None. I gained like 10 pounds.
You gotta have some activity.
Exactly, and that's what I didn't do, and I couldn't, I said, alright, I gotta make sure I go out each morning before my family gets up, because there for a while I was doing it, and I'd go to the park and I'd walk. And I was too lazy.
I think you can still get 2 plays on the bench.
I don't know. My son's got all that at the house, so go down there and find out. I was, what is it? deadlifting, as much as any of them could do.
Okay, but if you try, you need to take a video of it. Gosh.
So my son that's in college, he goes, don't lift that, you'll hurt yourself. He said, cause I can't do it. I think my son had 4 plates on there. And
Yeah, that's pretty strong.
I'm in trouble.
Yeah?
That's probably.
Beltless?
Yeah.
No lower back.
No, that takes too much effort.
Stretching? No stretching. He just went down there and wrote it out. He didn't even down there, he wrote it out.
Other questions? That's what I did, I was walking through and I said, you can't do this. Other questions? Everybody understand population samples, we're gonna use them all year long. Parameter, how often do you think we're gonna use parameters? Not very often. Why not?
Because it's hard to get in
Hard to get populations. How often we're gonna use statistics?
All the time.
All the time. Because we do
Straight up.
samples. Statistics. All right, what we're going to cover today, qualitative and quantitative. Qualitative and quantitative. Anybody have any idea before you start writing anything? What do you think qualitative deals with? Qualities. What do you think quantitative?
Quantities.
So which one deals with numbers?
Quantity.
This going to deal with quality. So if we're doing something, we might talk about a quality might be hair color. That's a quality. Quantity would be something like your age, something along those lines. Again, when we put stuff up here and you start writing stuff down, please don't write every word that I have up here. That's just silly. If I was writing anything off of this, if I was writing anything off this, then yeah, I just have to go. That right there, that title is probably all I'd write at the beginning here. Qualitative or quantitative. So we're going to distinguish between the two, classify. There's going to be 4 levels. This is going to be the hard part today. There's 4 levels. And students seem to have trouble with those 4 levels, distinguishing between those 4 levels of classifying data. So qualitative. Qualitative, you already told me, qualitative just consists of some kind of attribute, label, non-numerical entries. Something that's not a number. It's hair color, weight, height. Even though height's a number, it still could be qualitative. So some things could be both. Class name, so on, so on, so on. Qualitative is that. Quantitative, numerical, some kind of count. Your age, weight of a letter, temperature. Again, you got to be careful because some things could be both. How about this? All of you probably got a social security number. Qualitative or quantitative? With the L, right? Because does that number really mean anything numerical?
No, it means you.
All right. How about your phone number? Qualitative or quantitative? It's just a qualitative again. Doesn't mean anything numerically. It's just your certain phone. All right. So you got to be careful. Not all numbers are quantitative. We'll skip a little bit here. We just did that. That's just showing some of my pretty little diagram here, the stuff that I made up. Base prices of several vehicles are shown in the table. Which data are qualitative and which are quantitative? So this column right here, what is it? Qualitative. Alright, it's just a quality, telling you what the name of the vehicle is and style of it. And this column, quantitative, telling you how much it costs. Probably several years ago, right?
That Crown
Triple
Vic.
that now.
There's 480.
So F-150, 18,000 there, about 56,000 now, and then trucks are ridiculous price anymore.
Well, that's a baseball.
Huh?
The base
XL, that's a baseball.
And is it? I don't know, I don't have enough money to buy a truck, so. Levels of measurement. I'll put this up here, then I'll give you a second. These levels look like this. And this is what I said. Some students have trouble with this. Anybody see a water sitting around the room anywhere? That's it.
I got my throw in the trash.
Oh, that one. Why'd you find the water?
Yeah, I'm sitting on his table.
Hope that wasn't mine and this is somebody else. Nah, 'cause this one's cold. So it's really, anything that somebody else had could stay cold, this one. I just took this one out of the refrigerator.
So nominal is the lowest.
Now, when it says it goes lowest to highest, that really means nothing, all right? And we're gonna talk about what each one means. As a matter of fact, we might just write it on this slide, because it might be easier to just write it here. Nah. 'Cause I gotta explain each one, so we can break down each thing. Anybody have any guesses before I go on? What do you think nominal means? What's it sort of sound like? Maybe? Sound like number? No. Nominal is just like a name. Alright? So nominal is just naming something. And we'll talk about it on the next slide. Ordinals, anybody know what ordinal means? Anybody ever heard of ordinal numbers? It's like you give something a number, but it doesn't really mean anything. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't, it doesn't really mean that you're number one and you're number, it's interval. Interval, actually, the numbers then mean something. Alright, and a ratio, what's a ratio? You're actually comparing things, right? And you say like 4 out of 5 or something like that. We'll talk about each one. So nominal. Nominal, it is just qualitative. It's just some quality. So nominal might say prop stats class, geometry class, algebra class, so on, so on, so on. It's just giving those names. Might be McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, just giving those names. That's nominal level of a statistic. If I give you those names, McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King, Arby's, so on, so on, what math can you do? You can't do any math, can you? And that's what you might want to write on nominal. No math. Can't do any math with this. When you're at the nominal level, you can't do any math. Can't add, subtract, multiply, divide. Nothing, it's just, hey, here's the names. That's all it is. So stuff that examples, colors in the US flag, names of students in your classroom, textbooks you are using this semester, so on, so on, so on. Ordinal. Come up way over there. Ordinal. At the ordinal level, it could be qualitative or it could be quantitative. It could be either one. Sometimes it'll deal with numbers, sometimes it'll just deal with quality. So one of the things that could be at the ordinal level is something like you guys were talking about Sean's in the top 5%, right? Now 5% is actually at the ratio level, and we're going to talk about that here in a few minutes. But if we just listed the top students in the class, and let's say Joe Smith is number one, no, we can't use Joe Smith. Sally Smith is number one because we said females are smarter, right? So Sally Smith is number one. Judy Smith is number two. Sean's number three. All right? We're just listing them in order. Does that mean that Sally Smith is 3 times smarter than Sean because she's number one and he's number three? No, it doesn't work that way. Her grade point average is that much higher? No, it doesn't work that way. So that's what ordinal is. It lists something in order, but that order really doesn't make any difference. So it could be almost, and you gotta be careful when you're looking at this, because it could be like if you're running a race. I finished first, you finished second, and somebody else finishes third. We know what order we went in. Does that mean that I beat you by the same amount that you beat that third place person? No, so it doesn't really tell us all that. The order means something, but it doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, hey, I beat you by 5 minutes and you beat the next person by 5 minutes. Top 50 songs on the radio. Just because something's number one, does that mean it's 50 times better than the 50th song? No. So that's ordinal. Could be qualitative, it could be quantitative. Could have numbers in it, it could just be names. And skip that. Skip that. Same stuff. Next one. Interval. An interval. Just a couple of seconds here because I really want you to listen when I explain the zero thing, because it's sort of confusing to a lot of students. Here in the next day or two, while you're writing, I'll probably send around an email just to make sure that I'm hoping to get it done today, but there's no guarantee because I'm sort of tired, so I might take a nap 4 o'clock today because that's my plan. So don't come knocking on my door 4 o'clock. I don't know that right now. I'm going to send around an email just to make sure I have everybody's email set up right. Usually each day I'll send, so if you happen to miss every day, I'll send the homework and the video of the lesson out every single day. I send those, so if Gage, don't cuss me sitting in your intervention, stupid Ebersole, putting junk in my email. Just throw it in the trash, alright? with a little check mark by it and hit the trash can and send it to it if you were here. Now, if you're not here, use it. So you don't get behind. Alright. An interval level measurement are quantitative, only quantitative, so they have to be numbers. A zero entry simply represents a position on the scale. And this is where a lot of people get confused. If I'm looking at the temperature outside, and it's at 0 degrees, what does that mean? That's true, but what else does it mean? Numerically, what does it mean?
Like 10.
Does it mean that there's no temperature outside?
No.
So the 0 on that scale doesn't mean none, all right? It's still a temperature, all right? So if I say, I'm gonna give you 0 pieces of candy, Brendan, that number means 0. On the scale, like a temperature, that 0 stands for something. This 0 means none. Okay, does everybody understand the difference? An inherent 0 is when there's actually none. So the one that's on these scales isn't going to be that. So in the interval level, things are arranged in some kind of order. All right? So temperatures, years on the timeline. This is a good one, years on the timeline. When I go from 1980 to 1979, how many years did I move there? How'd you get that? What mathematical operation did you do? You subtracted. So with these, at the interval level, you can actually add or subtract, and your answer means something. Now, can you always add or subtract? No. If I added these two numbers together, is that going to mean anything? No, but when I subtract them, it meant something. So at the interval level, you can do some math. You can add or subtract. Same thing with temperature. If we're looking at the temperature right now, 78 degrees outside. 2:30, it's going to be 84 degrees outside. What do we know about those temperatures? What did it do? It went up by 6 degrees, didn't it? How'd you get that? You subtracted the 2. That's what we can do. Okay? So that's stuff at the interval level. So the nominal level is just names. Ordinal levels in some kind of order, but you can't really do anything mathematical with it. And the interval level is in order, and we can add or subtract with them. Now when we get to the ratio level, if I have a guess what else you can do with them? Multiply or divide. All right, and just thinking about a ratio, what's this bar tell us? Divide. All right, that's a ratio, and that's where the words all come together. So the ratio level. Ratio of two data values can be formed, so one data value can be expressed as a ratio. Put my IQ up against Michael's IQ, and we can say stuff like Ebersole's IQ is 10 times what Michael's is. Dang, I probably should have recorded something like that. Michael will probably be playing it for his parents tonight. I'll be fired tomorrow, so you'll have a new prop stats teacher coming soon. That That was worse. He said it wasn't hard for me to have a 20 IQ like. Here, Michael, I'll pay myself back for you. We look at weights down there. My weight is twice as much as Michael's weight. All right? What do you mean? I was trying to be nice. I'm saying I'm fat.
He's calling you little.
How much do you weigh?
I'm not what?
I weigh 150.
You never.
You weigh 300
You
pounds?
ever talk about, you never ask a person's age.
I'll
you
ask
never
them in their
ask
weight.
their
I don't
age,
about
and
two
you never
foot
ask
down.
a person's weight.
What's your
Not
weight?
too bad. That's healthy.
I weigh 112 pounds.
That's healthy. 255 is healthy.
Not for my body frame. If I had Gage's body frame, 255 might be all right. My body frame, I should not be 255.
You know that.
Michael should be 150.
I weigh like 100.
Michael, you should be like 230.
Like, you should be like 180.
You should be 230.
I should
You need to develop like
Michael's
He was
so fat.
230, bro.
Like,
He
sitting
would
there
be
weighing 130.
You would be a unit at 230.
Slim trim
230?
Because I said I weigh 112 pounds.
Can you do the weird thing where you feel like all 1, 2?
Like get the lump.
You got a
Get
200,
the
Michael?
lump.
You mean your collarbone?
No, like the like okay.
You
Big
can see
lump.
my, you can see my ribs.
Yeah, same.
So, the ratio level. A zero entry at the ratio level is meaningful. It means 0. So if we're talking about a weight, and I say the weight is 0, then that thing has no weight, whatever it is. All right? If we're talking about your GPA, if your GPA is 0, is that meaningful?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I'm
You're not
going-
putting names on papers.
I'm not even going there. I'm just going to keep my mouth shut and move along. Your age. If your age is 0, that means you're not here yet. So it means something. All right? That's the ratio level. At the ratio level, we can add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Now sometimes, one or the other doesn't make sense. Like it doesn't make sense to take two weights probably and divide them. All right, you could, and you could change it to a percentage and say, I weigh 25% more than whoever. Ages, we might subtract ages just to see how much older or younger you are than somebody at this level, at the ratio level. You could also say, if I got a person that's, my son is 9 years old and you're 18 years old, what can you tell me about how your two ages compare?
2 times over.
You're 2 times older. That's what I usually use to try to check to see if something's at the ratio level. I usually say, okay, does it make sense to say twice? Is this twice as much as this? Is this double what this is? That helps me to figure out when I'm at the ratio level. So if I'm looking at like home runs that somebody in baseball has hit, can I say he's hit twice as many as this person, and it makes sense, then we're at the ratio level. 2 data sets are shown. Which data set consists of data at the nominal level? Which data consists of data at the ordinal level? Which one of these is the nominal? Which one's ordinal?
Nominal's the right.
Ordinal.
Is the nominal right?
Which one?
Nominal's the
That's
networks.
nominal.
And the EV programs.
Then this one is,
Or,
how come it's ordinal and not, what was the third one?
because you can't add it. Those don't mean anything.
What was that third one again? Interval? How come it's not interval? It's listening.
Numbers.
Because those numbers don't mean nothing.
Okay, it doesn't really mean that. Now, if they told us something like, certain things about the shows or something, then maybe we could say that. But here it's just listening. Does it mean that this show got twice as many viewers as that show? No, not necessarily, it's just in some kind of order. Just showing which one was number one, which one was number two, so on and so on.
House.
That's ordinal, that one's nominal, you're right about that. Two data sets are shown, which data set is at the interval and which one's at the ratio.
Intervals with ratio.
Interval is the left one over here. So interval. How come that other one's at the ratio?
Because you
Because
zero
Boston
means something. Can have double the home runs as thrown.
Alright, so this one's got home runs. And if we look down through there, who was horrible?
Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Always are.
What
Or
they-
Los Angeles is the worst. Oh, Minnesota.
Minnesota's got 143.
Kansas City.
And 124, so 124, and if we look at like New York, they got 210, that's almost double what the Kansas City hit, right?
Because
So
everybody
we can
wants
say something like that.
the Yankees. We got 20
So
World
this
Series
one
victories.
was, this one was interval, that one was ratio level. Put this up here real quick. This is the last thing that we got. I put this chart on here just because I thought it might be helpful to have it. I don't know why I put so much motion on this stupid thing. Make me punch the board. So this tells you just the different levels. Does it put it in some kind of categories? Yes. Arrange the data in order. Nominal doesn't arrange it in order. The other three do. Just sort of gives you an idea about each of the levels. Got something in my shoe and it's sticking my foot. It's driving me nuts. Come back here by Jack and take my shoe off.
Oh, great, I get to smell it then. Lovely. You must really not like me. What the heck?
What are you talking about? You're the one that just said my foot stinks. I take showers.
When I walked in here, I asked you why you always have stuff on my desk, and you said, well, because I don't, and then you paused, you said, I don't like your desk, but you were going to say, well, I don't like you.
No, I was not.
Yes, you were, because then you even said, you don't know that that's what I was going to say.
Unless you're a mind reader, you don't.
Maybe I am.
Smile every now and then.
I do smile.
When?
Not around you.
Thanks a lot.
Oh, I just don't like being in school. Or at work.
You want to be at work? Who likes being at work?
Do you know what I do for work?
What do you do for work?
I wipe people's butts for work.
Oh, I hate that.
So would you enjoy being at work?
Do you wanna
What do you
get
do at work?
yelled at
Wipe
by
people's
older
butts.
people at your work 'cause nobody
See, I
says
would
it?
find a place to work.
Yeah, that sounds like.
That'd be the next move.
Well, how much do you get paid though?
My ex-CNA though.
We keep joking about how much this rich shotgun somewhere.
I know it's a bad question to ask, but how much do you get paid? If I get paid like $15 an hour to wipe some butts, I'll do it.
You know what, more people
Ohio
buy.
has the hardest,
What?
like, level of education.
Turns out that she's a
I
little.
get
I
it.
get my SCNA, I can go with like,
Your head coach.
Well,
Like what? New
The
Hampshire.
camera.
The camera.
yeah, I
Might
can
be right
go
there.
in any state, so I can
Yeah.
go get reading.
Anyway, you might want to do somewhere a bit free.
Well, yeah, but for now,
I was gonna say, I don't think they pay real well compared to others in the area.
you're working with my sister and I'll
Shouldn't have said anything. Phoenix is thinking. Nothing against the young lady, but she went Montana. we get out of here? 44?
Yeah.
Books open page 13, we'll go through these real quick.
Thank you for explaining.
If it gotta be, that's one.
I don't understand all the, like,
It drove me nuts this morning trying to tell those transitions. Well, this job pays 1951.
yeah, that's it.
Alright, where are you going from there? They're gonna train you to run that machine, and where are you going from there? Well, I could be a plant manager. No, I'm sorry. But most of those plant manager jobs are put out to people who have big diplomas and stuff. Now, they don't just, plant managers usually don't get hired and then work your way up to a plant manager anymore. It doesn't work that way in most of the factories and stuff around here. And this one that tried to show them $20. I got Kylie Johnston and we did a budget, first class. And you put down how much each month you're gonna spend on stuff. She put down, she spends like $1,000 a month on clothes.
I spent $1,000 in a month.
How do you have enough room for all that?
And so now, my whole thing all year long is gonna be with her. I'm gonna make fun of her all year long. Cause I keep asking her, I said, Kylie, today, I said, when you look up your job, make sure you're making, the average pay is like $6 million. Cause those are the people who spend that much money on clothes. You know you're not gonna live in Preble County, right? Cause there ain't nobody making that much money in Preble County. Some of them just don't have sense about how much can you actually spend. Well, I'm spending my mom and dad's money. Well, mom and dad's gonna kick your little butt somewhere else. Number one. Name each level of measurement for which data can be qualitative.
Nominal, ordinal.
Nominal and ordinal. Number two, name each level which it can be quantitative.
Ordinal, interval, ratio.
There's three of them, right? I should have brought my glasses up. Number three, true or false? Data at the ordinal level are quantitative only.
False.
False. Could be qualitative. That's the one that confuses a lot, or gets confused a lot. Number four, for data at the interval level, you cannot calculate meaningful differences. Differences means what?
Like,
Subtracting,
false.
alright? So that one's false also. Number five, more types of calculations can be performed with data at the nominal level than with data at the interval level.
False.
That's false, they got them backwards, right? Data at the ratio level cannot be put in order. False. Can be if you want it to be. Number seven, determine whether the data are qualitative or quantitative. It says explain, and you don't have to explain. And when you write these, you could write qual, Q-U-A-L, that's fine, and Q-U-A-N. Just make sure I can tell the difference between your N and your L. Don't try to pull a fast one like with the true and false Phoenix. Alright, I know how you are. You write a true and false somewhere in your class and you got this, don't you? And you're hoping the teacher.
So my first page looks like, from homework.
So you weren't sure, and here's, Ebersole ain't gonna be able to tell whether that's a tier or not, they'll just give you credit for it. Number seven, telephone numbers in the dictionary, or in the directory, not a dictionary, qualitative. Qualitative, L. Number eight, heights of hot air balloons.
Quantitative.
With the N,
Quan.
quantitative. Number 9, body temperatures.
Quan.
In again. Number 10, eye collars of models.
Qual.
Wall. Number 11, links of songs on an MP3 player. Does anybody know what an MP3 player is anymore?
Quan.
Did you have one when you were like in first grade or something about 10
Quantitative.
years ago?
Sounds like I really have one.
So what was that one?
Quantitative.
Quantitative.
I'll have to take it off.
Number 12, carrying capacities of a pickup truck. Quan again. 13, player numbers for a soccer team. It's with the L, right? Wall. Because does it really mean anything? No, it's just telling that number. Or that player's number. 14, student ID numbers.
Qual.
Wall again. We looked up national trails. I think they are actually Quan, because if we looked up national trails, Phoenix is probably like, 52,350. Ebersole's was like 7. When I was here.
22,663. 2,000. Sure.
That would be Mr. Swires, then, if he was still here, with about 7 or something. Is he?
Yeah, who's down there?
Was he? I have to run in there and see. Weights of infants at a hospital.
Quan.
Quantitative. Species of trees in a forest. Wall, just a quality. Responses on an opinion poll.
Quan.
Wall again. Wait times at a grocery store.
Quan.
Quan. That's your assignment, 19 through 30, like 11 to 12 problems.
That was the classic.
It really said with class.
Yeah, it said together on
I didn't read the top.
Maybe you should start it.
Start reading the
Yeah,
top
I'll
here.
read the top.